Federal Executive Council approves 2026 to 2028 MTEF projects 34.33 trillion naira revenue. Central Bank of Nigeria ends cash deposit limits, raises weekly withdrawals. Oil prices firm after Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil infrastructure stalled peace talks. Asia markets trade mixed after Wall Street gains on rate cut hopes fueled by weak jobs data. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Maria Aduzakari. Welcome. Just out of Federal Executive Council has approved the 2026 to 2028 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Fiscal Strategy proposals, preparatory to the 2026 budget presentation to the National Assembly. It was at the FEC meeting this Wednesday where President Bola Tinubu also directed ministries, departments, and agencies to prioritize growth-enhancing projects in their capital expenditure. State House correspondent Musbahud Al-Wahab has more on the meeting resolutions.
Year 2025 is winding down, and preparation for 2026 fiscal year dominated deliberations here at the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. Central to other considerations is the proposal of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning on the 2026-2028 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Fiscal Strategy Paper. Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris moderated the briefing session afterwards as breakdown of the MTEF came through. The key players take the key parameters a notch higher to, for the first time, include a target oil production and benchmark for the production. For 2026, the oil price benchmark is $64.85 per barrel. The target oil production is put at 2.06 million barrels per day, while the benchmark oil production is 1.84 million barrels per day. The exchange rate proposal is $1,512, and the GDP growth rate is expected at 4.68%. Total budget for the coming fiscal year is 54.46 trillion naira, with a budget deficit of 20.13 trillion naira.
The Federation revenue is estimated at 50.74 trillion. This is the revenue that is shared by the three tiers of government, whereas based on that, the distribution among the tiers of government, that the federal government is projected to receive 22.6 trillion from the federation account, while the state and local government are expected to receive 16.3 trillion and 11.85 trillion respectively for the local governments. Accordingly, the total federal government of Nigeria revenue from all sources is projected at 34.33 trillion, inclusive of 4.98 returned by government-owned enterprises. And this figure is lower by 6.55 trillion, or 16% lower than that of the 2025 budget estimate.
In other matters, the Council called for vigilance to tighten up against revenue losses while urging the subnationals to invest more in security.
There should be increased federation vigilance to eliminate revenue loss from illegal activities in the oil and gas sectors as well as critical mineral sectors.
Meanwhile, the Council approved an Islamic Development Bank support of $50 million in favor of Yobe State, as well as a $1 million African Development Bank investment loan to support young entrepreneurs in SMEs.
Support of various kinds under that AFDB program, and we all know what that means in terms of being able to support and help and assist and encourage young entrepreneurs at the lower levels.
All ministries to meet quarterly with the Ministry of Finance, the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Economic Management team, so that they can continue to prioritize projects, especially in view of the performance of the budget itself. There was also a decision taken by the Federal Executive Council to establish service centers for agricultural mechanization in the 6 geopolitical zones. This indeed will help to support and boost agricultural mechanization that will in turn also improve all year-round farming across communities in Nigeria.
In a similar development, the Accountant General of the Federation and Chairman, Association of Accountant Generals of Africa, Dr. Shamsuddin Ogunjimi, says the accounting profession in Africa is accelerating the adoption of digital innovation, database decision-making, and financial transformation in shaping the economic future of institutions and nations beyond bookkeeping. This was at the Africa Accountant Generals Conference recently in Accra, Ghana. Dr. Ogunjimi emphasized that every cedi, franc, naira, or dollar entrusted to public offices must ultimately translate into the prosperity of the people, stressing that decisions made by accountants directly affect millions of lives. The conference, which brought together leading accounting professionals and government officials from across the continent, provided a platform to examine the expanding role of accountants in a rapidly changing economic environment. Noting that accountants now play vital roles in strategic planning, risk management, financial forecasting, and navigating complex regulatory standards. Nigeria's Tonu Elumelu at the conference called on African accountants to remain vanguards of transformation, especially in advancing digitalization and strengthening accountability across public financial systems. The Central Bank of Nigeria has removed the cumulative cash deposit limit for individuals and corporates and increased the weekly cash withdrawal limit across all channels to 500,000 naira for individuals, up from 100,000 naira. This is contained in a circular titled Revised Cash-Related Policies signed by Dr. Rita Sike, Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department. The development is a major shift from tighter cash policy measures introduced under the previous administration. In December 2022, the central bank under Godwin Emefiele, its former governor, had directed deposit money banks and other financial institutions to limit over-the-counter cash withdrawals by individuals and corporate entities per week to 100,000 naira and 500,000 naira. Now to currency, we have dollar week with rate cut enthusiasm intact, euro at 7-week high. Let's see how much the naira is exchanging for other major currencies. Nigeria is making significant efforts to become a major player in the global agricultural seed market, which is estimated to worth about $77 billion as of 2025. This ambition was highlighted when the country successfully hosted the 8th edition of Seed Connect Africa in Nigeria. Nigeria is currently ranked as the largest seed producer and supplier in West Africa.
It is the 8th edition of Seed Connect Conference and Exhibition, created to raise awareness on seed production, agricultural innovation, policy, and partnership across the African continent.
Seeds for African Future.
The conference seeks to promote knowledge sharing, networking, and sustainable agricultural solutions. This year's edition marks a historic milestone celebrating 50 years of seed system development in Nigeria and highlighting remarkable progress in seed production, distribution, and climate resilience.
The launch you are doing today is a very big contribution to our food security, not only in Nigeria, but also in Africa.
Vice President Kashin Shettima, represented, stated that the current administration recognizes seed as the foundation driver of national food security.
Our priorities, from stabilizing food prices and expanding domestic food production to creating jobs for our women, youths, and disabled, all share a common non-negotiable prerequisite. A reliable, efficient, and innovative system is at the center, is at the core of all our food security agenda.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security also addressed the gathering, highlighting the significant achievements recorded in Nigeria's seed industry.
Meeting domestic demand is our primary responsibility, but we must also build systems that position Nigeria to compete across Africa and in global markets. Higher yields driven by certified seed, healthy soils, and stronger research adoption will ensure that Nigeria feeds itself and emerges as a reliable supplier to the region and beyond.
Participants from across Africa and beyond showcased a wide variety of high-quality seeds specifically adapted to Nigeria's soil and climate conditions.
Now, to shed more light on the issue and its benefit to the economy is the Assistant Director, Office of the Director General and Log Chair for the 8th Seed Connect, Dr. Osholagunju Bankole. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you, Maria.
So let's begin by, can you quickly break it down for people that are not familiar what the Seed Connect is all about and its significance across Africa, considering the business of seeds in the continent?
Okay. Seed Connect Africa is a flagship program of National Agricultural Seed Council, bringing about seed stakeholders across Africa. It's the largest gathering of seed stakeholders in Africa. And this year was the 8th year of the Seed Connect. And the essence is to create forum for networking, to give more prominence to Nigerian seed system across Africa, as of course we are the leading seed industry in sub-Saharan Africa. And while we try to meet domestic needs, we also want to spread across, because we know we have a prerogative of meeting the needs of the sub-region as it affects seeds.
So now, how many countries would you say participating in the event, and what is Nigeria's stake?
Thank you. The Seed Connect, over the years, we can't just pinpoint it on the 8th Seed Connect, because it's a cumulative effect of so many years of Seed Connect conference and exhibition. For this year, we have countries from Africa, and we can see from the preview you gave, we have the Rwandan ambassador. He was picked to attend the Seed Connect because obviously the National Agricultural Seed Council engaged in the training of seed specialists from Rwanda. And this has also been extended to other countries in the sub-Saharan Africa. We have training for seed experts in Liberia, in Congo, and in Sierra Leone. So for Nigeria, it's like taking the pride of praise as a foremost seed agency in the sub-region.
It's beautiful that Nigeria is ranked the largest seed producer and supplier in Africa. With this achievement, what would you say are the challenges and how can we tackle them?
Well, the challenges in the seed sector borders mainly on producing enough early generation seed material, which is we have three classes of seed: the breeder, the foundation, and the certified seed. Is the certified seed that the farmers actually plant. We have the breeder seed produced by the National Agricultural Research Institute, and which is multiplied as foundation seed and taken to the farmers as certified seed. So we need to strategize to ramp up the production of EGS in Nigeria. And one good thing that came to fore during the Seed Connect, if you listen carefully to the speech by the representative of the Vice President, he talked about the establishment of the Presidential Catalytic Seed Fund, which is set up, is the first of its kind to activate development in the seed sector in Nigeria. And this is to bring a seamless link between the research and the field. So in Nigeria, we need to see ways of ensuring that adulterated seed is got off the market by improving our surveillance, by improving our sensitization, and these are part of the things the Seed Connect essentially came to do.
So I know the overall, what would be achieved overall is food security. So how would you say this initiative overall fits in?
Thank you, Maria. Well, seed industry is 50 years already in Nigeria. As you can see, we're celebrating the 50 years of seed industry. And in overall, we have to look back at where we started from since 1975 and where we are in 2025 and what we needed to do. Part of the events that happened on that day was the launching of the Nigerian Seed Sector Strategy and Investment Plan, which was sponsored by AGRA. And this is a plan that gives an overview of what we need to do, printing it out, the intervention, what is already on ground before, and which areas we need to look at. In all, the Seed Connect is a gamut of so many presentations. We had some panel sections that dealt with import and exportation, financing the seed sector, the GMO debate, and developing the agric extension part as it affects seed. So in general, the Seed Connect has come to reposition the seed sector in a way that we address the needs of the seed distribution, seed production in Nigeria.
You talked about overall coming to boost Nigeria's seed sector. Let's talk about the private sector and the government. The government are the policy makers. What would those two, how would those two fit into the initiative?
Permit me to say we have a new Director General in the person of Honorable Fatu Muhammad, and coming on board, bringing in experience from the private sector. We know the seed sector has to be a fully private sector-led initiative. And with the intervention by the present administration, if you look at the strategy document of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he was critical about seed, and he made a remark, plant the right seed, feed the entire nation. We know seed sector has to be handled by the private sector, but the private sector needs to be supported. And this is why the Presidential Catalytic Fund was established to support the private sector in terms of credit, in terms of infrastructure, because they are the ones that can build the system. And what the Seed Council has able to do over the years is to give them the leverage they needed by joining the international organization, the UPOV, the OECD, and the International Seed Testing Association, so that our seed can meet the standard that is expected within the country and outside the country, thereby creating market and business opportunity for the private sector to thrive. When there's opportunities, we are sure that the private sector will latch onto these leverages.
In a few words, what would you say Nigerians and the whole continent should look forward to?
The continent should look forward to a transformed Nigerian seed system that is ready to meet local needs under good leadership and ready to meet international best practice and support sister countries around Africa, taking the pride of place as the #1 seed entity in sub-Saharan Africa.
Amen to that. Thank you very much, Dr. Osholagunju Bankole, for your insights this morning.
Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure. It's mine.
Now gold holds steady, silver scales record high. Let's now take a trip to the commodities market. Oil prices moved slightly higher Thursday after Ukrainian attacks on Russia's oil infrastructure signaled potential supply constraints and stalled peace talks tempered expectations of a deal restoring Russian oil flows to global markets, though weak fundamentals kept gains limited. Brent crude futures rose 14 cents to $62.81, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate rose 16 cents to $59.11 a barrel. Ukraine hit the Drozhba oil pipeline in Russia's central Tambov region, a Ukrainian military intelligence source said on Wednesday. The fifth attack on the pipeline that sends Russian oil to Hungary and Slovakia. The pipeline operator and Hungary's oil and gas company later said supplies were moving through the pipeline as normal. Asia-Pacific markets were mixed on Thursday after Wall Street gained on hopes Federal Reserve could cut interest rates next week following the weaker-than-expected jobs data. Let's take a look at the figures. This is where we end the edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on NTA's channel. Business Express returns on Friday by 3 p.m. I am Maria Aduzakari. Thanks for your company.